Nintendo is a company with a long history. They've dabbled in all sorts of products. Made toys, video games, gimmicky playthings. They've made some shit, some absolute garbage, but they've also made some god-tier video games. Even started a cab and hotel service, if you can believe that. We're talking about a company so influential and historic, they don't need no introduction. So I guess I should probably cut this part out of the video. We're not here to discuss the history of Nintendo, or how big my penis is. Oh no, we've got something delicious on our plate today. I'm talking, of course, about Nintendo's best franchise, and what could be argued as their greatest achievement. How do I know it's the best they've ever made? Out of the mind-blowing list of top-tier game series and iconic characters under their belt, how do I know I'm right in picking one out of all? I don't. This is just my opinion. Oh, you hear that? It's the just my opinion alarm. Remember, before you get pissed off and think I'm some kind of dumbass, remember, it's just my opinion. But I think I've got a pretty good case to make, and maybe, just maybe, you might agree. So, which is it? Obvious choice is Mario, right? I mean, that guy's been in 8 billion games, right? Wrong! What about Link and Zelda? Quite possibly the greatest adventure series of all time. Nope. Donkey Kong?
Okay!
No, it's not. Game & Watch? The old-time classic? Nuh-uh. Metroid? Get real, son. Whammon can't be in video games. Okay, so the title gives it away, but I'll just say it anyways. Nintendo's greatest franchise is none other than F-Zero. Alright, just kidding, folks. Nintendo's greatest franchise is Super Smash Bros. But Hackman, how can that be? Smash Bros. Is just a collaboration of other Nintendo characters and series. Well, it's actually a whole lot more than that. It's more than you even realize. So let's battle the Master Hand. Choose your character. And happy feet, wombo combo our way straight into this. If there's one word I'd use to describe the Smash Bros. Series, it's hype. Even when the original came out, watching this intro for the first time, do you need a guaranteed way to shit your pants? Because this is it. Now let me pose a question and be quiet for 20 seconds. I want you to think about what you feel when you hear and watch this. You know what that song means to me? It means it's fucking go time! This music signals the impending battle that will separate the boys from the men, the girls from the women. What I'm trying to point out here is how easy it is for Smash to just get you hyped, pumped, whether it be a new trailer, an update, a character, anything. Any information that comes out regarding these games is a hot topic. At this point, I'd like to remind everyone that the longest piece of literature is a Smash Brothers fan fiction that spans over 3.5 million words. Stand aside, Sun Tzu, you frickin' rookie. Smash Bros. Is the real deal. Okay, so why do I bring up this random bit of trivia? Well, number one, to show you how much passion people have for this series. I mean, that's fucking dedication. 3.5 million words? Number two, because it's kind of hilarious. And number three, because Super Smash Bros. Is basically a fan fiction written by Nintendo themselves. Subspace Emissary foreshadowing. And with a series like this, when it becomes such a big deal to add a new character to the roster or a new stage, it piques people's interest.
It's Ridley! Ridley!
I mean, Smash Bros. Games come out once every 7 years. So between release dates, the gaming community just goes insane with speculation and possibilities, theories, leaks, all this stuff. You've probably seen a bunch of these fan-made My Ideal Smash Bros. Roster images, right? Well, that's because it's just fun to imagine what your favorite character or series would be like implemented in Smash Bros. What would your ideal roster be? I know I've put a startling amount of time into thinking about Banjo-Kazooie, Conker, and Master Chief's movesets and what they would be like. If Solid Snake, Sonic the Hedgehog, Mega Man, and seriously, Dr. Mario can make it into Smash Bros., I'd say most any characters are fair game. Except Doom Guy. Don't get your hopes up, that's an instant M rating. Not cool with Nintendo.
Falcon Punch!
It's absurd how much people care about their characters getting into Smash. Daisy is a prime example of that. I was so surprised at how loud and persistent the community was begging for her inclusion. And they were doing that for years, man. So when Nintendo delivers the characters people ask for, they just go crazy. It's like, that's good fan service. Smash Bros. Is the epitome of fan service. With such heated speculation and over-the-top reaction videos running rampant, it builds up a ridiculous amount of hype prior to the release of the next title. Never mind the Nintendo Direct videos that detail every big and minute aspect of Smash Ultimate. Thing is, in my eyes, Nintendo has always delivered kick-ass Smash Bros. Games. Look, personally, Melee is my least favorite. I'm gonna get crucified, yeah, I know, I don't care. And we could spend all day discussing the differences between games and all the minor nitpicks we have. But even though I'm jaded towards Melee, I can't say it's a bad game, or even mediocre. The standard of quality for a Smash Bros. Game is literally like a 9 out of 10. I wouldn't say any game in this series has gone below that. What I'm trying to say is, as fans of this series, we might not always get the exact things we want or expect, Piranha Plant. We might have criticisms and complaints. We might not like how things evolve, we may want to go back. Nintendo might slip up from time to time and grossly misunderstand the IPs they have and why people like them. But despite any beef between us and Nintendo, we can always depend on Masahiro Sakurai to deliver a dope-ass Smash Bros. Game, and sacrifice his life while doing so. Couple this with the extremely long time period between releases, and what we have is a game series that steals the show whenever a new one is announced. Honestly, can you think of a more well-known and popular fighting game series in the world? Maybe Mortal Kombat. Maybe. But no, Smash is at the top of that. And the lead up to Ultimate was just unreal. The last time I was this hyped for a video game, people, was Halo 3 and Skyrim. Let that show you what an impact this series has and the hype surrounding it. One of Super Smash Bros.' biggest strengths is something almost no other franchise possesses. Except Marvel's Avengers or DC's Justice League, but who cares about Justice League, am I right? Hashtag Thanos is my man. The games are all about nostalgia, at the core of it. I mean, sure, it's also about a mustachioed plumber beating the living hell out of an electric mouse and other crazy, trippy mushroom shit. But there's more to it than that. What I'm talking about ties in with Nintendo's long history. Before the first game came out, Smash Bros. Was already 15 years in the making, if you think about it, because they're building up these other IPs. I'm not saying they were thinking of Smash Bros. In 1984, but back in 1999, Nintendo already had a pretty sweet lineup of exclusive franchises, and some of the most critically acclaimed games of all time. Donkey Kong Country, Super Mario 64, Ocarina of Time, Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow version, Star Fox 64, Super Metroid. Every one of these games and series offered something radically different, with their separate worlds and universes being defined and detailed over time through multiple games. But how can we push the envelope? Asked a Nintendo executive in the late 90s who has since earned $8 bajillion for coming up with this idea. How can we go
Even further beyond!
Well, you combine them all into one. Bam! Billion-dollar concept. It's an idea so simple, yet so genius. Why don't we combine our most popular works into one giant collaboration? It's paid dividends like none of us can imagine. If you've never been a fan of Nintendo games, their characters, or fighting games in general, then Smash Bros. Won't have much appeal to you. But to everyone else, it's a dream come true. And even if you don't care, ain't a soul alive in the gaming community that hasn't heard of this series. It's kinda like, hey, remember all the fun you had playing through the Mario Brothers games? Remember tossing Bowser around collecting stars and saving the princess? Remember how awesome it was to fly around in 3D space for the first time as an anthropomorphic fox? With a falcon that liked to talk a lot of shit.
Are you gonna listen to that monkey?
And a frog that complained a lot.
Hey, what's the big idea?
And an old rabbit that fucking lectured you to shit.
Never give up. Trust your instinct.
Remember all those awesome Pokemon you caught on your Game Boy? Guess what? We threw all that cool shit in the blender, and here's the shake. What makes Smash Bros. Special is it becomes the sum total of all the other incredible and sometimes forgotten adventures that Nintendo has given us over the years. So when you fight on Sector Z or Corneria, you get the Star Fox theme. You see that same iconic Z Nebula in the background as you battle it out atop the Great Fox. Just as the same mission in Star Fox 64 has you protecting the Great Fox. So with this example, anybody who played Star Fox 64 can immediately make the connection, relate to and recognize everything about this map. Smash Bros. Is reminding you of all your good times and adventures in Star Fox 64. At the same time, it's giving you a new experience when you fight there. Want some more examples? Brinstar Depths, Kraid from Super Metroid fucks with this stage. WarioWare's stages have quick mini-games going on in the background. Flat Zone is, as the name implies, flat, and filled with several Game & Watch characters that jump around and do things. Nintendo knows their characters and franchises so well that they're able to capture the essence and identity of each one in not only the stages, but the characters' movesets themselves. It doesn't matter what genre of games these characters come from. They could be puzzle, RPG, shooter, stealth, a fucking real-life simulator. Nintendo can translate anyone and any character into a potential fighter for Smash. This applies to almost every sub-franchise and all the maps the Smash Bros. Series has ever had. When combined with the premise of Ultimate having everything from the previous games, the nostalgia is too much for me to bear. I can only give you so much money, Nintendo, just please don't demonetize this video. But this element of nostalgia, reliving and enjoying the past, is present in the collectible side of Smash. When looking at your collection, trophies, stickers, you get some history on what it is you're looking at. It gives you a sense of, what's the term for feeling good about doing something? Pride and accomplishment. It gives you a sense of pride and accomplishment to look at all the things Nintendo has done and all you have achieved. Smash Bros. Is a celebration of everything we love about video games. Adventures, challenges, kick-ass music, tight controls, variety of characters, and pure fun by yourself and better with friends. Everyone is here, and everyone gets love. Imagine being a hardcore fan of Earthbound, Mega Man, Castlevania, and getting to see your favorite character just pop out of the blue. It's a trip how hyped and happy some people get when their favorite and possibly underrated character gets to be in Smash. Sadly, despite waiting 18 years, I have not experienced this phenomenon for reasons I'll not go into. It's possible to look back at specific games and see where the characters get their fighting styles from. It all goes into the attention to detail within the characters' movesets, their final Smash attack. This franchise is able to take any and all forms of Nintendo fans and unify them through nostalgia by colliding everything together. One Smash Ball under Sakurai, with fun and chaos for all. Aside from just being extremely fun, the core gameplay is pretty unique amongst fighting games. As you know, the goal isn't to deplete your enemy's health bar, but instead knock them off the map. This makes it a very atypical, yet straightforward fighting game. It's arguably more accessible than Street Fighter, Soul Calibur, Mortal Kombat, Killer Instinct, Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3, and so on. Where most fighting games require a vast knowledge of movesets, the various button inputs, and often require you to practice these moves in order to be able to fucking use them, and use a character to their full potential, Smash just keeps it simple. A button is your basic attacks, B button is your special attacks. Each move has a neutral input and 4 tilt inputs, varying in strength. That's about as simple as fighting games get. It's easy enough to pick up, but harder to master. But even if you aren't an MLG 360 No-Scope Pro MLG montager, the game is still fun as shit. When do you shield? When do you use your special moves? How long do you charge a smash attack? Which direction? These snap decisions take much longer to perfect from battle to battle, and depending on the matchup. Nowhere is this more true than Melee, where the game's busted mechanics turned it into the premier fighting game to watch. And I don't say busted with a negative connotation. Melee was a happy accident, just like Halo 2. I can't think of any other game besides maybe Counter-Strike that has managed to maintain such a consistent spotlight within the hardcore gaming community and within esports. I mean, we're talking like 18 years of relevancy. Wombo Combo became a meme for a reason. Sure, this high skill gap was toned down in later games, but the point still stands. Smash can be both highly competitive and dumb casual fun. effectively appealing to all demographics. A game that can strike such a nice balance between the two extremes is a rare thing indeed. I'd like to also say that it's because of Melee that the GameCube controller is still being emulated, remade, and used by Nintendo 17 years after the console's release. They even showcased this alongside the Smash Ultimate announcement. I mean, talk about timeless controllers and catering to the hardcore fans. The other aspect of this is just how much content is packed into each game, how much there is to unlock, grind, and achieve. There's almost no limit to how many ways these games can be played. You can create and customize the different game modes to your desire. But some of you might be thinking, Smash Brothers isn't really its own franchise because it takes things from the other game series and therefore it can't be Nintendo's greatest franchise. While it heavily relies on pre-established franchises, stories, lore, characters, locations, yada yada yada, Smash has never been shy about introducing completely new things, like the Master Hand and Crazy Hand. I mean, they almost serve as the Y of Smash Bros, as well as being a main antagonist. I mean, it's just a couple of cartoon hands pulling the strings and setting these fighters against each other. Could these be the gloved hands of Sakurai? And then you also got Taboo. And even if it's not creating something new, it's taking something old and revamping it, remaking it, updating it. Especially if you look in the music department of things. These games have quite possibly the greatest soundtracks of any game of all time. And it's like you got all these different pieces of music, these excellent tracks, and Nintendo will actually remix them. Like, how cool is that? It is a shame it's not in Smash Ultimate, but things like the Home Run Contest are such fun little distractions, and this series is filled with them. Multi-man Melee, collecting and unlocking trophies, Trophy Rush, stickers, music, new characters, stages, adventure mode, trying to complete all 51 events in Melee, creating your own characters. Smash just packs in so much content into each release, it's a wonder that Ultimate doesn't have fucking loot boxes in it or some shit. It's like, wow, you can actually afford to heavily invest in this game if you know it's going to sell well. In any case, the best example of original work is the Subspace Emissary campaign in Brawl, which I find so impressive. One reason is because Nintendo basically made a fanfiction with all their characters, revolving around trophies. Almost as if when characters defeat each other, they become the trophies of whoever defeated them. It's got such a great story, so many twists and turns. We've all wanted to see how some of these characters would interact with each other when they meet up or collide. You got former enemies turning into allies. The histories of these characters are all brought to the forefront, coming together for a single purpose. Subspace Emissary was so much fun to experience because it didn't take itself too seriously. And it managed to tell a collaborative story without any freaking dialogue whatsoever. Think of how you have to personify these characters without giving them any words to say. That's all through their actions. That is amazing. This is a testament to the creative potential of this series. And the best part is, portraying all these unique characters in an epic crossover without shattering the immersion and making it some ultra cheesy JRPG storyline is an impressive feat. Smash Brothers isn't just a collaboration. It's its own unique entity, and it's freaking awesome. Isn't it great to see two people you really like working together to post a video on YouTube or achieve something? The power of collaboration is what created the pyramids. Well, that was kind of slavery, but you get what I'm saying. It's also what created Smash Brothers. This series was built upon the footsteps and foundations of thousands of people. Smash Bros has become so influential and important in the gaming community that when a character is given a spot in the roster, it's essentially like their legacy as a video game character is being realized. They are cemented in history. It's like, you've made it, bro! This series is legendary because of its innate ability to collaborate. It's a console seller because of this. Anyone who had a GameCube or Wii had Melee and Brawl. Sorry, Wii U, you don't count. And now everyone with Switch is gonna have Ultimate. But quite possibly the most underrated aspect of a game like this is oftentimes you don't get to play as the villains. Think about it. I mean, Peach and Bowser have one game each where they're the main characters. You never get to play as King K. Rool. You always fight Ridley, you never play as him. It gives the villains an opportunity to shine, when in their own games their evil plans are always getting foiled. It gives them a chance to strike back. You get 'em, Bowser. It's payback time. With a massive collaborative piece like this, if you can give love and attention to each character, where they come from, and every element at play, well, you're gonna have a kick-ass collaboration. Smash Ultimate consists of over 35 separate franchises. Now think for a second. Think of what that means. As a developer of these games, you essentially have unlimited access to endless source material that you can pick and choose however the fuck you want. And you get to pick the best bits out of every single one. You know, often you'll see a character in the background of a stage or an item that looks familiar, a trophy, sticker, and you can pinpoint where they're from. It's like, alright, you can't give all these characters a spot on the roster, but you're recognizing them nonetheless. You're giving love to all these characters and franchises, and that's a hard thing to do when there's so many of them, but that's what really matters. Imagine if you traveled back in time to when Sega and Nintendo were fierce rivals, and you told the gamers that Sonic and Mario would eventually fight on the same stage 17 years later. Nobody would have believed you. But it's because Smash Bros. Is designed in such a way that allows it to bring characters from other franchises and non-Nintendo IPs into the roster that gives the series such an impact. The power of collaboration is what makes this series such a freaking event when a new one comes out, and it's a power that other franchises and companies have tried to utilize, but no one has used it quite to the degree of success as Smash Bros.
Who's that Pokemon? It's
Ness!
Wait, who the fuck is Ness? I probably wasn't the only person to think that about several of the characters in the early Smash Bros. Games. Pit, Marth, Roy, Ice Climbers, Shulk, Mr. Game & Watch?
Who are you people?
But that right there is the beauty of the series. Nintendo can bring in any character they want to. They can dig up anything from their past and make it work. Is there any other franchise that can do this? Could you put Waluigi in a Call of Duty game? Okay, that'd be pretty funny. Modern Warfare 2. Anyways, the two characters that proved this point of anything can work in Smash is Solid Snake and Bayonetta.
Showtime da.
Nintendo is traditionally more geared towards the E for everyone rating, so it's shocking to see characters from more mature games with a radically different tone and feeling than your standard happy-go-lucky Nintendo game. Smash Bros. Has become such a well-known franchise in and of itself that seemingly unknown characters like Ness and Pit have gotten recognition they otherwise would have never had. I know for a fact I never would have picked up an F-Zero game if I hadn't played Smash and heard "Welcome back!" I can guarantee I never would have known what Fire Emblem was if Roy and Marth weren't in Melee. And that's what I'm saying, the inclusion of two Fire Emblem characters whom anyone outside of Japan wouldn't know anything about is essentially what allowed Fire Emblem to have a presence outside of Japan. And thank God that happened because Awakening is so freaking good.
Anything can change.
Essentially, Smash Bros. Serves as not only a way for famous characters to fight each other and knock their pants off, but it can also revive a character's quote-unquote career. It can give recognition, love, and promotion to a series that hasn't had that in a long time. What it all comes down to is being able to please the fans you have. The people who have supported your business and your IPs throughout the years, and giving them another product every so often that celebrates all of that, all while making it well worth its asking price. It deepens the connection between company and consumer. There needs to be trust between the two because then we both get things out of it. And when a company like Nintendo is able to create so many quality games, impactful series, and legendary characters over such a long period of time, throwing it all together just makes the magic happen. It doesn't matter if you like Mario over Link, or if you prefer to play Ike instead of Marth, or even if you don't know some of these characters, it doesn't matter, because if you've played a Nintendo game, there's gonna be something for you here. Nintendo is the master of nostalgia, and nowhere is this more clear than in Smash Bros. With its easily accessible formula, variety of stages and ways to play, fan service and nostalgia, how it nails the identity and feeling of each character, its ability to collaborate with other IPs, and the amount of content it packs in, all these elements and more, and the quality of their implementation is what proves to me beyond a doubt that Super Smash Bros. Is Nintendo's greatest franchise. So thank you all for watching, hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, subscribe to my second channel for more content. Like the video, of course, leave a comment with your thoughts down below. Who's your favorite character in Smash, and which one would you like to see the most in the upcoming DLC? That's all I got for today. This is the Act Man signing out. Peace!